Be reading from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 40 to chapter 44. Bear with me. Bear with me as I try to get through this. God willing. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 40, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah after Nebuchadnezzar, chief of the guard, had let him go from Ramah when he had taken him board in chains among all the exiles from Jerusalem and Yehuda who were being exiled to Babel. Verse 2. And the chief of the guard took Yirmiyahu and said to him, Yahuwah, your Elohim, has spoken this evil on this place. Verse 3. And Yahuwah has brought it on and has done as he has said, because you have sinned against Yahuwah and did not obey his voice. Therefore, this matter has come upon you. Verse 4. And now see, I loosen you today from the chains that were on your hand. If it seems good to you to come with me to Babel, come, and I shall look after you. But if it seems wrong for you to come with me to Babel, remain here. See, all the land is before you. Go wherever it seems good and right for you to go. Verse 5. And before he replied, Nebuzaradan said, or go back to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, whom the sovereign of Babel has made governor over the cities of Yehuda, and dwell with him among the people, or go wherever it seems right for you to go. And the chief of the guard gave him provisions and a gift, and let him go. So the king of Babel made governor over the cities of Yehuda. This is interesting. This is in the time of Jeremiah, time of exile. Verse 6. So Yirmiyahu went to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, to Mishpah, and dwelt with him among the people who were left in the land. Verse 7. And all the commanders of the armies who were in the fields, they and their men, heard that the sovereign of Babel had made Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, governor in that land, and had put him in charge of the men and women and children and the poor of the land who had not been exiled to Babel. Verse 8. So they came to Gedaliah at Mizpah, Ishmael the son of Nephaniah, and Yothan, and Jonathan the son of Koreth, and Zariah the son of Tanyaneth, and the son of Othay, the net the netoph the Netophathite, and Yazanyahu the son of Maakathite, they and their men. Verse 9. And Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, swore to them and their men, saying, do not be afraid of serving Kasdim. Dwell in the land and serve the sovereign of Babel, and it shall be well with you. Verse 10. And I see, I am dwelling at Mishpah to serve the Kasdim, who come to us, but you gather wine and summer fruit and oil and put them in your vessel and dwell in your cities which you have taken. Verse 11. Also, when all the Yehudim who were in Moab and among the Ammonites and in Edom and who were in all the lands heard that the sovereign of Babel had left a remnant of Yehuda and that he had set over them Daliahu, son of Hakim, son of Shaphan, then all the Yehudim returned from all the places where they had been driven and came to the land of Yehuda to Gedaliahu at the Mishpah and gathered wine and summer fruit in large quantities. Verse 13. And Johanan, son of Korath, and all the commanders of the army that were in the field came to Galiahu, son at Mishpah. Verse 14. And they said to him, do you certainly know that Baalis, sovereign of the Ammonites, has sent Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, to strike you, a being? But Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, would not believe him, would not believe them. Verse 15. Then Johanan, son of Kareah, spoke secretly to Gedaliah in Mishpah, saying, please let me go and strike Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, without anyone knowing it. Why should he murder you and so let all Yehudim who are gathered to you be scattered and the remnant of Yehuda perish? Verse 16. But Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, said to Johanan, son of Kareah, do not do this matter, for what you are saying about Ishmael is not true. Chapter 41, verse 1. And in the seventh new moon it came to be that Ishmael, son of Nathaniel, son of Elishma, of the royal seed and of the officers of the sovereign, came with 10 men to Galidahu, son of Ahikam, at Mishpah, and while they ate bread together there in Mishpah. Verse 2. Ishmael, son of Nathaniel, and the 10 men who were with him arose and struck Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, with the sword, and unalived him, whom the sovereign of Babel had made governor over the land. Verse 3. And Ishmael struck all Yehudim who were with him, with Gedaliah at Mishpah, and Kasdim, who were found there, the men of battle. And it came to be on the second day after he had unalived Gedaliah, when no one yet knew it. Verse 5. That men came from Shechem, from Shiloh, and from Shomerim, 80 men with their beards shaved, and their garments torn, having cut themselves, with offerings and incense in their hand, to bring to them to the house of Yahuwah. Verse 6. And Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, went out from Mishpah to meet them, weeping as he walked along. And it came to be, as he met them, that he said to them, Come to Gedaliah, son of Hakim. Verse 7. And it came to be when they came inside the city that Ishmael, son of Nethanel, slew them, throwing them into a pit, he and the men who were with him. Verse 8. But 10 men were found among them who said to Ishmael, Do not unalive us, for we have wheat and barley and oil and honey hidden in fields. So he held back and did not unalive them among their brothers. Verse 9. And the pit into which Ishmael had thrown all the corpse of the men whom he had struck because of Goliahu was the same one Asa the sovereign had made for fear of Baasha, sovereign of Israel. Ishmael, son of Netanyahu, had filled it with the slain. Verse 10. Then Ishmael took captive all the rest of the people who were in Mizpah, the sovereign's daughters, and all the people who were left in Mizpah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, chief of the guard, had entrusted to Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, and Ishmael, son of Nethaliah, took them captive and went to go over to Ammonites. Verse 11. But Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army that were with him heard all of the evil that Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, had done. Verse 12. So they took all the men and went to fight with Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, and they fought him by the great pool that is Gibbon. Verse 13. And it came to be when all the people who were with Ishmael saw Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army who were with him, that they were glad. Verse 14. And all the people whom Ishmael had taken captive from Mizpah turned around and came back and went to Johanan, son of Kareah. Verse 15. But Ishmael, the son of Nethanyahu, escaped from Johanan with 8 men and went to Ammonite. Verse 16. Then Johanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army that were with him took from Mizpah all the rest of the people whom he had covered from Ishmael, son of Nethanyahu, after he had struck Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, the mighty men of battle, and the women, and the children, and the eunuchs, whom he had brought back from Gibeon. Verse 17. And they set out and dwelt in the lodging place of Kiham, which is near Bethlehem, to go enter Misraim. Verse 18. Because of the Kasdim, for they were afraid of them, because Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, and struck Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, whom the sovereign of Babel had made governor in the land. Chapter 42, verse 1. Then all the commanders of the army and Johanan, son of Kareah, and Yezaniah, son of Hoshaiah, and all the people from the least to the greatest came near. Verse 2. And said to Yirmiyahu the prophet, We beg you, let our petition be acceptable to you, and pray for us to Yahuwah your Elohim for all this remnant, for we are few left of many, as your eyes see, as your eyes see us. Verse 3. And let Yahuwah your Elohim show us the way in which we should walk, in the word we should do. Hmm. Verse 4. And Yirmiyahu the prophet said to them, I have heard. See, I am praying to Yahuwah your Elohim according to your words, and it shall be that I declare to you all the word Yahuwah answers. I withheld not a word from you. I withheld, I withhold not a word from you. See what this answer would be. Verse 5. And they said to Yirmiyahu, let Yahuwah be a true and a steadfast witness between us, if we do not do according to all the word which Yahuwah your Elohim sends us by you. Verse 6. Whether good or evil, let us obey the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim, to whom we send you, in order that it might be well with us when we obey the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim. Verse 7. And after 10 days it came to be that the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu. Verse 8. So he called Johanan, son of Karev, and all the commanders of the army which were with him, and all the people from the least even to the greatest. Verse 9. And said to them, thus said Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, to whom you sent me to present your petition before him. Verse 10. If you would indeed stay in this land, then I shall build you and not pull you down, and I shall plant you and not pluck you up. For I have relented of the evil I have done to you. Verse 11. Do not be afraid of the sovereign of Babel, of whom you are afraid. Do not be afraid of him, declares Yahuwah, for I am with you to save you and deliver you from his hand. Verse 12. And I shall show you compassion, so that he has compassion on you and let you return to your own land. Verse 13. But if you say, we are not staying in this land, and so disobey the voice of Yahuwah, your Elohim, saying, no, but we are going to the land of Mizraim, so that we see no fighting, nor hear a voice of shofar, nor hunger of bread for bread, and there we should stay. Sounds familiar? Verse 15. Then hear the word of Yahuwah, O remnant of Yehuda. Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, if you indeed set your faces to enter Mizraim and should go to sojourn there, verse 16, then shall be that the sword which you feared overtakes you there in the land of Mizraim, and scarcity of food of which you were afraid clings to you there in Mizraim, and you die there. Verse 17, and so it shall be with all the men who set their faces to go to Mizraim, to sojourn there. They shall be unalive by the sword, by scarcity of food, and by pestilence, and not one of them shall survive or escape from the evil I am bringing upon them. Verse 18, for thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, as my displeasure and my wrath has been poured out on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so shall my wrath be poured out on you when you enter Mizraim, and you shall be an oath and an astonishment and a curse and a reproach, and you shall see the place no more. Verse 19, Yahuwah has spoken about you, O remnant of Yehuda. Do not go to Mizraim. Know for certain that I have warned you this day. Verse 20, for you deceived yourselves when you sent me to Yahuwah your Elohim, saying, pray for us to Yahuwah our Elohim, and according to all that Yahuwah your Elohim says, do so declare it to us, we shall do it. Verse 21, so I have declared it to you today, but you have not obeyed the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim in all which he has sent me to you. Verse 22, and now know for certain that you shall be unalive by the sword, by scarcity of food, and by pestilence, in a place where you have desired to go to sojourn. So Jeremiah is telling these folks, like, going back to Egypt, which is just like going back to Africa, going back to Egypt, going back to Africa, this is what's going to happen. You're gonna be unalive by the sword, scarcity of food, pestilence. You know what I mean? And he's saying that you will be an astonishment, a curse, a reproach in this place. Sounds familiar? This is heavy, man. I remember reading this. Let's finish reading. Chapter 43, verse 1. And it came to be when Yirmiyahu had ended speaking all these words to all the people, all the words of Yahuwah their Elohim, for which Yahuwah their Elohim has sent him to them. Verse 2, that Azariah, son of Hoshiah, the Yohanan, son of Kareah, and all the proud men spoke, saying to Yirmiyahu, you are speaking a lie. Yahuwah Elohim has not sent you to say, do not go to Mizraim. They did not want to hear that, yo. They did not want to hear, don't go to Mizraim. Verse 3, for Baruch, son of Neriah, is moving you against us, to give us into the hand of Casdim, to put us to death or exile us to Babel. Verse 4, so Yohanan, son of Kareah, and all the commanders of the army and all the people disobeyed the voice of Yahuwah to stay in the land of Yehuda. Verse 5, and Johanan son of Kareah and all the commanders of the army took all the remnant of Yehuda who had returned to dwell in the land of Yehuda from all the nations where they had been driven. Verse 6, the men and the women and the children and the sovereign's daughters and every being whom Nebuchadnezzar chief of the guard, and left with Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, and Yirmiyahu the prophet, and Baruch, son of Neriyahu. Verse 7, so they went to the land of Mizraim, for they disobeyed the voice. They disobeyed the voice of Yahuwah, and they went as far as Tapanas. Verse 8, and the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu in Tapanis, saying, verse 9, take large stones in your hand, and you shall hide them before the eyes of the men of Yehuda in the clay in the brick courtyard which is at the entrance to Pharaoh's house in Tapanis. Verse 10, then you shall say to them, thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, see, I am sending and I am bringing, I am sending, and I shall bring Nebuchadnezzar, the sovereign of Babel, my servant, and I shall set his throne above these stones that I have hidden, and he shall spread his canopy over them. Verse 11, and he shall come and strike the land of Mizraim, bringing death to those appointed for death, and captivity and captivity to those for captivity, and the sword for those the sword. Sounds familiar? Verse 12, and he shall set fire to the houses of the mighty ones of Mizraim, and shall burn them and take them captive. And he shall cover himself with the land of Mizraim as a shepherd puts on his garment, and he shall go out from there in peace. Verse 13, and he shall break the stone pillars of the house of the sun which are in the land of Mizraim, and he shall burn the houses of the mighty ones of the Mizrites with fire. Chapter 44, verse 1. The word that came to Yirmiyahu concerning all the Yehudim who were dwelling in the land of Mizraim, who were dwelling at Migdol and at Taphanas and Noth, and in the land of Pathros, saying, verse 2, thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, you yourselves have seen all the evil that I have brought on your Jerusalem and on all the cities of Yehuda, and see, this day they are a ruin, and no one dwells in them. Verse 3, because of their evil which they have done to provoke me, by going to burn incense, by serving other mighty ones whom they did not know, they nor you nor your fathers. For verse 4, and I sent to you all my servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, please do not do this this abominable matter that I hate. Please do not do this abominable matter that I hate. This is what he sends his prophets to say. This is what he sends his prophets to do. To say this, please do not do this abominable matter that I hate, which is serving other mighty ones. Verse 5, but they did not listen or incline their ear to turn from their evil, not to burn incense to other mighty ones. Verse 6, so my wrath and my displeasure were poured out and burnt in the city of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem, and they became a ruin and a wasteland, and it is this day, as it is this day. Verse 7, and now, thus said Yahuwah, the Elohim of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, why are you doing this great evil against your lives, to cut off from you man and woman, child and infant, from the midst of Yehuda, leaving none to remain? Verse 8, by provoking me with the works of your hands, by burning incense to other mighty ones in the land of Mizraim, where you have gone to dwell, to cut yourselves off and be a curse. To cut yourselves off and be a curse and a reproach among all the nations on the earth. Among all the nations on the earth, this is what he's telling them they're doing by going back to Mitzrayim and serving these weird mighty ones. Verse 9, have you forgotten the evils of your fathers and the evils of the sovereigns of Yehuda and the evils of their wives and your own evils and the evils of your wives, which they have done in the land of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem? Verse 10, to this day they have not been humbled, nor have they feared, nor have they walked in my Torah and in my laws that I set before you and your fathers. Verse 11, therefore, thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, see, I am setting my face against you for evil and for cutting off all Yehuda. Verse 12, and I shall take the remnant of Yehuda, who have set their faces to go into the land of Mizraim, to sojourn there, and they shall all be consumed in the land of Mizraim, and they shall all be consumed in the land of Mizraim. Fall by the sword, consumed by scarcity of food, from the least to the greatest, they shall be unalived. By the sword, by the scarcity of food, and they shall be an oath and an astonishment and a curse and a reproach. Verse 13, and I shall punish those dwelling in the land of Mizraim as I have punished Jerusalem by the sword, by scarcity of food, and pestilence. Verse 14, and none of the remnant of Yehuda who have gone into the land of Mizraim to sojourn there shall escape or survive. Lest they return to the land of Yehuda, to which they are longing to return to dwell there, for they shall not return except those who escape. Verse 15, then all the men who knew that their wives had burned incense to other mighty ones, and all the women and all the women who stood by a great assembly, and all the people who dwelt in the land of Mizraim and the Pathros answered Yirmiyahu, saying, verse 16, we are not going to listen to you. We are not going to listen to you in the matter about which you spoke to us in the name of Yahuwah. Same people then as the same people today. We are not going to listen to you in the matter about which you spoke to us in the name of Yahuwah. Verse 17, but we shall do whatever has gone out of our mouth to burn incense to the sovereignness of the heavens. What? Say what? To burn incense to the sovereignness of the heavens, and pour out drink offerings to her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our sovereigns, and our heads in the cities of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem, and we had plenty of food and were well off and saw no evil. Just because they did this and were well off at one point, they feel like they can do this again and continue to do this. Verse 18, but since we cease burning incense to the sovereignness of the heavens and pouring out drink offerings to her, we have lacked all and have been consumed by the sword and by scarcity of food. Wow. Verse 19, and when we burned incense to the sovereignness of the heavens and poured out drink offerings to her, did we make cakes for her to idolize her and pour out drink offerings to her without our husbands? These are the wives saying this. Verse 20, then Jeremiah spoke to all the people, to the men and the women, and to all the people who had given him that answer, saying, verse 21, as for the incense that you burn in the cities of Yehuda, in the streets of Jerusalem, you and your fathers, your sovereigns and your heads, and the peoples of the land did not Yahuwah remember them, and it came into his heart? Verse 22, and Yahuwah could no longer bear it because of the evil of your deeds and because of the abominations which you did. Therefore, your land is a ruin, and an object in astonishment, a curse without an inhabitant, as it is this day. So he what they everything that they was just talking about doing like burning incense to the sovereignness of the heavens, he basically didn't even repeat that. He basically let them know, like, yo, that was an abomination, and this is why y'all are a complete ruin. This is why, y'all tore up. Verse 23, because you have burnt incense and because you have sinned against Yahuwah and did not obey the voice of Yahuwah or walk in his Torah and in his laws or in his witnesses. Therefore, this evil did befall you as it is today. So notice how he's saying he didn't say burn you because you had burnt incense to the sovereignness of heaven. He didn't even acknowledge it. He didn't even acknowledge that. He didn't even acknowledge this so-called sovereignness of the heavens. He didn't even acknowledge this so-called queen of the heavens. He said, because you have burnt incense, period. Like, I'm not even going to acknowledge who you thought you were burning incense to. Because you have burned incense and because you have sinned against Yahuwah and did not obey the voice of Yahuwah or walk in his Torah, and in his laws and his witnesses. Therefore, this evil did befall you as it is today. So that is what sin. This is what sin is. Is basically you worshiping other, you worshiping non-factor, non-existent entities. Worshiping non-factor, non-existent entities is this is actual sin. Disobeying, like not obeying the Torah, like what's actually written, not, you know, walking in Torah, not walking in his laws, not walking in his witnesses, like instructions that were written, not made up or what's politically correct to everybody today and what they call a sin, what's actually written, not doing what was written. That's disobedience. That's sin. People make this broad definition of sin. Everything is sin. No, what is written is sin is sin. What is written is unclean. Ah, that's another day. Verse 24. And Jeremiah said to all the people and to all the women, hear the word of Yahuwah, all Yehuda who are in the land of Mizraim. Verse 25. Thus spoke Yahuwah of hosts, Elohim of Yisrael, saying, you and your wives have spoken with your mouths, and have filled with your hands, saying, we have performed our vows that we have made to burn incense to the sovereignness of the heavens. This is what he's repeating what they saying at this point. And pour out drink offerings to her. Then confirm your vows and perform your vows. Like he's like, all right, go ahead and go do that. Go ahead and go do that. Verse 26. Therefore, hear the word of Yahuwah, all Yehuda who are dwelling in the land of Mizraim. See, I have sworn by my great name, declares Yahuwah. My name shall no longer be called upon by the mouth of any man of Yehuda in all the land of Mizraim, saying, as the master Yahuwah lives. Wow. Wow. Is this when they stopped calling him by the name? That he got so disgusted with them that he like, man, don't even utter my name. Don't even utter my name because you're the same ones who acknowledge this non-existent queen of the heavens. Don't utter my name no more because you acknowledge this so-called queen of the heavens. Don't even utter my name no more. This is what he's saying. See, I have sworn by my great name, declares Yahuwah, my name shall no longer be called upon by the mouth of any man of Yehuda in all the land of Mizraim, saying, as the master Yahuwah lives. Verse 27, see, I am watching over them for evil and not for good. And all the men of Yehuda who are in the land of Mizraim shall be consumed by the sword and by scarcity of food until they come to an end. Verse 28, and those who escape the sword, few in numbers, shall return from the land of Mizraim to the land of Yehuda, and all the remnant of Yehuda who came into the land of Mizraim to sojourn there shall know whose word is established, mine or theirs. Verse 29, this is the sign to you. What's the sign? What's the sign? Let's see what the sign. This is the sign to you, declares Yahuwah, that I am punishing you in this place so that you know that my words are certainly established against you for evil. Verse 30, thus said you, Yahuwah, see, I am giving Pharaoh Hophra, sovereign of Mizraim, into the hand of his enemies and into the hand of those who seek his life, as I gave Zedekiah, sovereign of Yehuda, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, his enemy who sought his life. That was the end of the reading for the book of Jeremiah, chapter 40 to 44. Appreciate your patience. Appreciate all those who were able to, hear me out. Uh, I'm going to bless us out according to the blessing that was given to Moses to bless the people in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, starting in verse 23. Receive your blessing. May Yahuwah bless you, barak you, and guard you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. May Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Until next time, siblings, peace, love, Shabbat Shalom, love, and peace.